The 19th century changed the navies of the world, completely revolutionizing the way the ships were built. Steam-propelled ironclads protected by steel armour plates took the place of wooden sailing ships that had been used all over the world for centuries. Rapid technological advancements in the fields of communication and military engineering propelled colonial empires into the age of the never-ending naval arms race. And in 1906, the rules of the game changed once again as the British Royal Navy launched a revolutionary new flagship, the HMS Dreadnought, creating a new class of warships called Dreadnought battleships. Dreadnought was designed to crush her opposition with high-caliber guns at extreme range. 8 kilometers or more to the target? No problem. When you're armed with 10 12-inch, that's 30.5 centimeter, Mark X guns, that is. The battleship also had quick-firing 3-inch, 76mm cannons, intended for use against smaller targets like destroyers. Keep in mind that the British thought that they could use even more firepower, even when the ship was just launched. Moreover, Dreadnought was the first capital ship to be powered by steam turbines, allowing her to steam at full speed for hours and hours on end. Her construction sparked off an even fiercer naval arms race. Now, every major fleet had to have ships that could fight such a well-armored and well-armed beast of a warship. Germany, for example, developed 2 new types of battleships by the end of the decade, the Nassau class and the succeeding Helgoland class. Despite the unusual hexagonal arrangements of their 6 twin-gun turrets housing 28.3cm guns, Nassau-class battleships like Westphalen had a pretty conservative design, all things considered. For instance, instead of modern steam turbines, these battleships used triple expansion steam engines. The Helgoland-class battleships were basically an improved version of the same concept. They had significantly more firepower. German engineers outfitted them with 30.5cm guns that had faster fire rate than their British counterparts. Americans were not slouching either. It was around that time when they finished working on their South Carolina-class battleships and started building Delaware-class warships that displaced more water, like the USS North Dakota available in the game. Starting with the Delaware class, Americans adopted steam turbines just like the British. A Delaware-class battleship carried a battery of 10 12-inch, 30.5 centimeters guns in 5 turrets, placed in a super-firing arrangement. Furthermore, this American dreadnought received better armor than its predecessors. Obviously, the Russian Empire didn't want to slip behind other naval powers. In 1909, Russians laid down 4 Gungood-class dreadnoughts, including Poltava, that we have in the game. She is distinct from the earlier battleships in that it has triple gun turrets. Thanks to carrying 12 main caliber guns with great elevation, these Russian dreadnoughts commanded more firepower than their contemporaries, but weren't as well armored. This type of dreadnought was later developed into the Imperatrice Maria class that had better seakeeping ability and better armor. Japan, being an ambitious seafaring empire, simply had to join in on the fun. Their Kawachi-class ships, including Setsu, are often classified as the first dreadnoughts of the Imperial Japanese Navy. Japanese engineers were well aware of the advancements and design choices made by their German and British counterparts. It's not a coincidence that their new warship were outfitted with 30.5 centimeter guns and powered by steam turbines instead of classic steam engines. Obviously, we also simply have to mention Hyuga, the behemoth of a battleship carrying 35.6 centimeter guns mounted in 6 turrets. That's some crazy firepower right there. As for the British, well, creating the revolutionary dreadnought was obviously not enough. In 1910, the Royal Navy got their first Colossus-class ship, basically an up-armoured Neptune-class battleship. Colossus had excellent armour, just like Dreadnought, but she also came with better placed turrets, allowing for wider firing arcs. Despite all the might of those armoured leviathans, a lot of them were never used in anger. They were symbols of their nation's pride, and very expensive symbols at that, with the costs of building and maintaining dreadnoughts being a heavy burden even for the most powerful seafaring nations. Moreover, the earliest dreadnoughts didn't have any AA capabilities, as aircraft weren't perceived as a threat until World War I, a decade after Dreadnought had been launched. What killed the giant battleships, though, was the advent of the guided missile and the enormous costs associated with their construction. But that happened much, much later. In 1906, they still had a bright future ahead of them.